Bail hearing for the Parliament arson alleged Parliament arsonist Zandile Mafe. What more are you learning, Vanessa?
Blaine, yes, good morning to you. Let me just show you a short while ago, a member of the police came out, addressed us as the media. I'm going to ask my colleague Clinton to show you, of course, this is the closed doors of the Western Cape High Court behind me. Members of both the print as well as broadcast media are waiting at the moment to hear from the judge, president himself, or representatives of the police in terms of whether or not we are allowed in court. A short while ago, we were told that only 10 reporters will be allowed in from different media houses, and of course that didn't sit well because, as you know, there are media houses from print, newspapers, television, radio, etc., along with camera crews. So we are at the moment waiting at the door, Blaine, to get inside to hear whether or not we will indeed be able to follow this urgent bail application of Mr. Zandile Mafe. Doors are still closed at the moment. We are here waiting. My colleagues from the other broadcasting stations as well. And then just, of course, then a short while ago, you would have seen a small protest there, members of ZAPO, of course, saying that Mr. Mafe's arrest and the court proceedings are indeed unfair and unjust towards him as a poor black man, saying that he is nothing but a scapegoat. So, Blaine, at the moment, I wish I could tell you more in terms of this urgent bail application, but until such time that we as the media get a clearer indication as to whether A, we will be allowed inside to begin with, and B, whether we will be allowed to film live, of course, the proceedings, that indeed remains to be known. We're still standing over here, Blaine. We'll keep you up to date as soon as any new developments take place here in the Western Cape High Court.
So this is what we know at this stage. You say that Mafe won't be present physically in court. The initial court appearance, the cameras were allowed in. Help us understand the fact that, does it just boil down to the amount of journalists inside court due to COVID-19 regulations, or are there other issues at play here in terms of broadcasting this live?
You'll understand, Blaine, that with Mr. Mafe's previous 2 court appearances, that happened in the magistrates' court, number one. So the magistrate then in that lower court would have the jurisdiction to either grant or deny permission to film proceedings that happened there. You'll also remember that on Tuesday, in what the defence, Advocate Dalium Paul for SC, called an ambush, that was, of course, when the new charge relating to terrorism was indeed brought against Mr. Mafe. That could be one of the reasons. And then, of course, secondly, he's just started his 30-day period of mental observation at Falkenberg on Thursday after bed was expedited and secured for him. So these factors altogether, as well as, I suppose, the seriousness of the terror charge could indeed be one of the reasons, Blaine, why there is such extraordinary security measures outside the High Court. We would have covered quite a number of high-profile cases here at the High Court, and I cannot remember a time when even bona fide members of the media had to sort of, if I can call it, struggle to this extent to be allowed inside the courtroom. That, of course, also coupled with the fact that, yes, indeed, we still are in COVID-19 at the moment, and we understand that it's quite a small courtroom 26, that could also be part of the reason. But until someone comes out and gives us more information in terms of the exact reasoning, Blaine, at this point we can only but speculate, and then just once we know what the message is from the judge president himself, we will be able to come back and tell you exactly why we are at this juncture as members of the media. Most of us are still outside the court. The doors are closed, and we are obviously eager to follow that urgent bail application proceedings.
Vanessa, I just got one more question to you, but if you need to cut this interview short because you need to get into court, please do. I don't want you to miss out on getting a spot inside court. If you can, carry on though, but I just want you to help the viewers understand what led to Mr. Mafe now going for a 30-day mental observation at hospital.
Indeed, and that, of course, was one of the issues highlighted by the defence on Tuesday in the Cape Town Magistrates Court. What had happened was that, according to the NPA, Mr. Mafe was taken to a district surgeon for an initial observation. Of course, then finding that was prior to his appearance in court that he indeed suffers from a condition called paranoid schizophrenia. Now, this, of course, is something that Advocate Mpofu had a huge problem with, calling it, like I mentioned a short while ago, an ambush, saying that the NPA and the state, etc., had ambushed the defence with that letter recommending that he indeed go for a period of mental observation. Now, I can tell you that according to the Defence Counsel, Mr. Luvuyo Godla, the attorney of Mr. Mafe, he earlier telling us and confirming that at this point they refute allegations that their client indeed has mental issues, and of course we would expect as soon as we go into court to understand what the arguments would be around that, seeing that the state had indicated it will oppose bail, and also saying that if in the event that Mr. Mafe is declared mentally unfit to stand trial, that indeed the chances are we will not see the man, the sole suspect arrested in connection with that fire that gutted Parliament, stand trial. So, of course, these are issues that we expect to be ironed out inside, and we'll hopefully get to hear exactly what both sides of the defence as well as the state would argue once this application, if it's not already going ahead, once we are at least allowed in to hear how these arguments would proceed.
Look, Vanessa, we'll let you go for now, but if there's any further developments, let us know. We'll get you on air immediately, get the viewers the very latest. Appreciate your report.